Hello and welcome into another edition of the Sun Belt Syndicate, the 3B edition, with you from the first kick to the last pitch. And we're talking about pitches again today, aren't we, Marv?
Yeah, we're talking baseball again.
I love it, man. We had some good, some bad. Oh, TJ's jumping in and saying, "What's up, boys? What's going on, TJ?" The baseball man himself, you and TJ are like the baseball guys. Seth's obviously a big baseball guy, not joining us again this week, unfortunately. But yeah, we're getting into it, right? I mean, like it already feels like it means more than it did just a week ago when teams are winning and losing, right?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's good, bad, and ugly, right? Some teams are kind of moving up, other teams are kind of moving down. But man, this is if I'm not mistaken, this is the last weekend of non-conference weekend series. After this weekend, I'm pretty sure we jump into conference, which for you and I makes things a heck of a lot easier because now we get to focus on 7 series versus 14. But yeah, it's it's baseball season now.
Yeah, and we've got some really big ones coming up. It's like you don't take a breath. I mean, we talked about it, what this conference is, what we don't consider it to be, what we do consider it to be, and the slate makes it feel like we're not lying when we say that. Like these teams have scheduled tough.
I mean, you look at a lot of the out of conference stuff that a lot of these teams scheduled. They didn't go easy because they knew what they were going to get into when they got into conference. So you got to be battle tested when you get in. Now, are you playing some easier teams on the weekends? Maybe, but you're probably picking up a pretty difficult midweek game. But yeah, no, everybody's just trying to gear up because they know the gauntlet that they're going to have to face here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is going to be a gauntlet. This episode, like we shared earlier, is called Ranked and Stanked. I know it doesn't really, it's not proper grammar and we don't give a damn. But yeah, I mean, we have ranked teams. We played ranked teams, and then we had some stinkers. And luckily we didn't have too many of those, but we do have to mention that there were a few of them. Chad's picks wasn't too bad. But we'll talk about his picks. So he's saying, let's just skip who got it right in the rankings and get to those matchups. Oh, man. And we did throw Seth a bone. So I think that is the very next thing we're going to talk about. Yes, it is our weekly picks. Let's go full screen here as we discuss this. Now, first and foremost, Marv, we know that Charlotte and ODU did not play a 3-game set.
Only played 2.
Only played 2. I will say I am struggling to understand why they didn't try and get 3 in, right? Like Friday got washed out.
Yep.
Canceled, and then no.
The typical thing to do would have been play a doubleheader on Saturday, or even if it was a little bit too wet, you play the game on Saturday and then go for a doubleheader on Sunday to get all the games in. That was strange to me as well. I don't understand the logic behind that. I'm sure there was a good reason. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and I didn't see anything that dictated why they couldn't do that. So that was kind of the strange thing there. But regardless, it didn't work out. We did throw Seth a bone. We didn't completely wipe out the series because I think the picks are still relevant. And Seth was the only one who picked Charlotte to win 2. Marv, you and I went the opposite way. So we did get 1 game correct in the overall standings, but we lose the series because neither one of us had Charlotte winning the series. So we rightfully, I think so, gave that one to Seth. Throw him a bone. He needed his 2nd series win of the season, right?
Yeah, I mean, neither one of us could have got there because we had them winning 2 and they couldn't win 2 games. So, yeah, I think it's fair that we gave it to Seth. And but that's the last bone we throw him. There are 0 more gimmies, no more participation trophies. You get it right or you cancel it.
Yeah. No, I think that's right. I mean, that was just an odd one, and I'm like, man, of course it's I don't think there was a single other cancellation. I don't even know if there was another game that was moved all weekend, to be honest with you. So that was just like, I don't want to alleviate the whole slate of picks there, right? So we're gonna keep it. But we'll go down to the next one, Marv. You and I redeemed ourselves completely in that one, and Southern Miss sweeps Lotzak. And a little bit surprising, Chad said he didn't want to talk about it. Seth probably doesn't want to talk about it too much. But yeah, the Golden Eagles continue to climb the polls too after this victory.
Yeah, they're looking really good. I mean, that pitching staff is as advertised. We thought that they'd have the second best staff, but with all the injuries to those staff down there at Coastal Carolina, I mean, they're good. Like their Friday, Saturday, Sunday guys are legit, and their offense is doing plenty enough to win them baseball games. So, no shocker, they should stay at number one in the power rankings this week and looking like the best team in the conference.
We got a fan base. We'll get to that in a minute. I'll hold off on that comment, actually. But yes, I don't think there's any doubt that the best ranked team and the best team win streak wise in this conference will hold the top spot. I mean, I think we'd lose all credibility if we switched that for any reason.
Clear number one. How's that?
Yeah. Chad says, I will if you want me to. All right. Well, we will move on to the shocker of the weekend, maybe, at least in our weekly picks anyway. Not only does Georgia Southern get their first victory of the season against USC Upstate, who did win their conference last year, but they also take the series. I was the only smart guy or dummy, depending on how you look at it, to take Southern to win the series 2-1. It's exactly what they did. Seth had the opposite. You had the opposite. Was there anything in your mind that gave you pause and said this could be the series that Southern turns it around in?
So I thought they'd get their first win, but the way they were playing going into that, and Upstate played against who they play against in the opening weekend. They played against the Sun Belt team.
They did. I'll look it up while you talk.
And they played really good. Like you said, won their conference championship. I think they made a regional last year. I just didn't think Georgia Southern was playing well enough to win the series, but happy they did, right? I mean, it's always good to see a team get their first win and the bottom team in the conference win their first series. Maybe that's kind of like the turnaround moment that they needed.
No doubt about it. USC Upstate lost the opening series to South Alabama 2-1. They did take one from the Jags, but that's another good team. We haven't really talked about them in this episode just yet, but I'm sure we will. But yeah, this is not nothing. And again, I'm going to hark on the fact that if you're just watching scoreboards and saying, well, Georgia Southern's terrible, they have a terrible record. I mean, they do have a terrible record. No one will disagree. I would think even the team would agree with you there. Yes. But if you look at how that record has been made, it's not like they've been completely blown out by these bad teams. There's some ugly ones, but those teams have all been very good thus far. So credit to them for scheduling tough. It's just unfortunate that it's going to not be great until they can, really turn that record around before people start recognizing that, it was a tough slate, but now you're making it through it. Before we move on, BC.
Listen, the first 4 games were against ranked teams, right? They had a series against West Virginia, then Georgia Tech, kind of a sloppy loss to Georgia Tech, then kind of a sloppy loss to South Florida. But, glad they got the first one. They got the Citadel this week, who, not mistaken, the Citadel beat Coastal. So,
yeah, I think you're right. So Citadel's
doesn't get much easier, and then Tennessee Tech, then Clemson. They definitely didn't. They didn't schedule easy. I think they probably would have expected a couple more wins than what they have right now. But once again, baseball's a momentum sport. You win a couple, you start to believe, okay, yeah, we can win baseball games now, and you put a couple together, and just go win the conference. That's all you got to do.
Right. Yep. BC Guy 81, a Southern Miss fan, says, we were expecting good pitching, but I was pleasantly surprised by the bats. And the bats have come through a couple times in these games at necessary times, too. So this isn't just, we got lucky in the first couple innings and the other team couldn't catch up. No, they've needed to come back from behind and, break a tie, a couple different situations that they have overcome and come up clutch. So that's also another mark of a good team. Expect them to kind of keep it rolling as we go through here. But again, doesn't stay easy. This doesn't get any easier before we get into how some of these teams got to this point. These are the power rankings as of the weekend, right? Like this is going into the weekend. So if you see some weird placements here, here's the first one that I said I will mention later. Texas State will not remain at number 9.
No, they will not.
I don't know. I think it's possible that one or two of us out of the 3 weren't paying close enough attention to Texas State, to be honest with you. And maybe some of it also is like expecting them to be like perfect at this point. I don't know. But it wasn't just one specific thing. It wasn't one person had them at 14 or something stupid. It was just kind of how it worked out with the math that I think everybody kind of got to them after these teams that had jumped up and surprised us. Arkansas State, Georgia State, the Cajuns were coming back. Troy then had a couple victories that we were like, okay, here they come. App State only had one loss to that point. So I think everybody wanted to kind of give some of these other teams their flowers, and it kind of left Texas State to kind of find a spot where we thought they might fit. And honestly, kind of the same thing with the Jags, right? Like we just didn't know. We thought they were kind of getting for real, but we still didn't know, like, do we trust them enough to say they're up in that top 5 category? But we're going to have some movement this week, I think.
Yeah, that's going to look completely different on Friday.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what was it?
Completely different. There are some teams that are going to stay where they are, like bookends maybe.
Right, yep.
Yeah, that 2 through 13 will look drastically different.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, just the other week we had Marshall at 3 or 4, and look where they're at now.
I mean,
now they've had
even some of the coaches that we talked to before, like off camera, were like, "Hey, that Marshall team's going to be sneaky good this year, right?" And they just haven't performed. We know they've got, Bryce is a star pitcher. We know they've got some arms. They just they hadn't got out of the gates good. Hey, don't look now. ULM's on a 6-game win streak. Texas State's on a 5-game win streak. Like, yeah, there you go.
There you go. Warhawks representing, baby. I got it backwards tonight so I can see the screen real well, and y'all can see my face.
Good. Arkansas State's looking good. I mean, there's going to be a lot of movement.
Yeah, I think there is going to be a lot of movement. And again, some people get upset too that they think this is like some prediction. Like, it's not a prediction. We're talking about where they're at right now. And again, we're showing this after the fact, so it's even less meaningful now. But we do like to rehash where we thought kind of people were going into the week, and probably where we're going to see them either late Thursday night or Friday morning, depending on when we get our rankings in. But it'll definitely be released before this weekend's games. So we do take into account the midweeks. It kind of gives us a time to breathe, right, Marv? We can watch some games at a little bit better pace than the weekend when there's 14 games on all around the same time. The midweek helps us kind of get a look for some of the teams that we haven't gotten to see in a couple days. And Thursday will be really easy because Texas State plays by themselves, and we'll get to that here in a few minutes. So at a snapshot, the syndicate snapshot, as we're calling this, sweeps. Southern Miss, number 12, continues winning. Warhawks, we just talked about those guys. They swept Western Illinois. Congrats to them. The Jags sweep their opponent off the top of my head. They played West Georgia. You were correct. And then sadly, and Marv, I don't know if you have any extra notes you want to share on this, but App State goes down to Gardner-Webb. So they're playing on the road. Gardner-Webb really not all that great of a team record-wise.
They're 1-3 on the season now after the sweep, but I mean,
true. I guess now they are, yeah.
Hate to see it wrap. So, and I don't know if we're going to go into detail, but every game was a 1-run game, and 2 of the 3 were
extras.
2 of the 3 extra innings, yeah.
And a quick note, like Robbie's saying here, Coastal lost to College of Charleston, not the Citadel, but somebody did lose to the Citadel. I think you're right. I want to say it was Marshall, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I think it was Marshall that lost to the Citadel.
They lost to Citadel and Navy, I believe. They were playing 2 colleges. Okay, yep, got it confused.
Yep, all good. But this is why we have live shows. This is great. We correct ourselves as we go and we move along. But yeah, and then ODU, again, I'm considering it a sweep because the 2 games they did play technically gives the series to Charlotte. But yes, they should have had a shot to at least claim 1 victory and avoid a technical 3-game sweep. But we'll see. That was kind of a statistical outlier, but they went over, so I put them in the swept category. Now, we also had some teams who didn't play a standard series. They played, a couple tournaments. I believe, though, Texas State was the only team to win all 3. I believe.
They definitely won all 3.
And they definitely won all 3. That's good. Yeah. The other teams, I think, James Madison went 2-1. Coastal went 1-2. Troy went 1-2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll get to some of that stuff here in a minute. These were the series that we mostly talked about already.
And then Georgia State with the weird 4-game series. Let's just play 4.
Oh, and you know what? Look at that. I left Arkansas State out. I want to give dual credit because they are on a hot streak.
Top right.
They should have been in the sweep.
Oh, yeah, you did. Okay, yeah, you left them out of the sweep. Yes.
In the snapshot portion, left them out.
Look good.
They do look good. The Cajuns, we hadn't quite talked about them getting another California team that they took the series victory over. They did not get the sweep again, but they got the 2-1 victory again. Georgia Southern coming up big, getting not only their first win, but their first series win, which is even bigger and a better deal for them. Marshall getting the win over Butler. Not quite sure Butler's all that amazing of an opponent, but obviously good to see Marshall get that victory over an out-of-conference foe. Any news or notes on these games I missed?
No. I mean, I'm sure we'll start to.
Yeah. Well, I just want to mention, like, Georgia State going into Belmont. Did you think there was going to be any issue with, like, Georgia State winning the series there?
I thought they would have won the series, yeah.
Yeah, and they had 4 games to do it. So they could have won 3-1, 4-0, but they split with Belmont in Nashville. This is a Belmont team not really all that great. Kind of a road test for Georgia State that didn't go so hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of my bigger surprises for the weekend. Again, I picked Georgia Southern to win their series, so that one's not shocking to me. I was taking a chance. I'm not like some genius, but Georgia State was the surprise to me with where they were at, how they were rolling, where we thought they were in the power rankings to come out 2-2 against a Belmont team that, I mean, they're not putting the fear into anybody. So I was a little surprised on that one.
Yeah, I agree. That and the App State series were the 2 big shockers.
That's true.
The biggest shocker on this page to me right here, though, when we texted about it on Friday night, Troy losing to Western Carolina.
Yes.
That shocked.
Yeah. We knew that they were going to be in Greenville for this tournament. And we knew they were going to play ECU, and they ended up playing Rutgers, which is the team they got the victory on. But, yeah, Western, I agree with you. And Western's not great this year, right? I mean, they're not record-wise anything impressive, right?
I haven't looked, but traditionally a decent baseball program, but you expect Troy to handle them, especially the expectations that Troy had coming into the season. You would have expected them to easily handle a Western Carolina. I honestly, looking at their schedule, thought that the ECU game was going to be a tough game because it was at Keith LeClaire Stadium in Greenville. Knew that would be tough, but would have expected them to take care of business against Western and Rutgers, which they did beat Rutgers. But, man, that one shocked me. That was the biggest shock of the night for me on Friday.
Yeah. No, definitely the biggest shock for me there too. Because Georgia State takes the first one from Belmont, 4-1. You're like, okay, yep, this is about what we're going to see. App State, we watched a little bit of that. I couldn't take it, honestly. The vantage point from Gardner-Webb Stadium was horrendous. It was dark. It doesn't seem like their stadium's well lit. Either that or the camera's terrible because it looked very dark. It was hard to see. It was like you had a microscope in the outfield trying to see. It's just like, this is not working for me. And I don't care to look up names and stuff like that. And it's not like they didn't have knowledge, but the announcers didn't give me that like feel that I wanted to keep with.
The announcers did not overcome the bad video quality.
No, and I like I said, I'm not going to put anybody on blast. I'm not even sure who it was. It just they didn't help keep you interested in the game, right? There's some voices, especially in the Sun Belt. We have some really good voices for the people that do these games, and that's again. I know we saw some stuff. We'll talk about it here too because Southern Miss goes on the road to La Tech. A lot of Southern Miss fans tuned into that La Tech game and were very disappointed with the production value. So hopefully, as they come in and hopefully get more money than what they were seeing in Conference USA, that production value ramps up as well because that's a team that you want to put on a pedestal when it comes to baseball, right?
Yeah, I agree.
We love to hate them, but we want that to be something that people tune into and want to watch. Again, with the Gardner-Webb situation, I mean, there's been other ones. They're not the only one, but hopefully, people can get tuned in and more interested in baseball because the quality is picking up. And there's where some of the disconnect is. at least in the early part of the season. Chris jumping in saying, "What's up? What's going on, Chris? Thoughts on ULM being great at scoring versus pitching?" Yeah, I mean, the thing with ULM, and we'll talk as we jump into the next day here, they win that first game 12-5 against Western Illinois. The next one 11-4. I don't know if that's more of like a good enough test to say like that gives us a good feel where ULM is at against better competition. I mean, I'm simplifying the question a bit, but
I think they did exactly what they should have done against that level of competition. They
didn't
allow a ton of runs. They scored a ton of runs. I think, I mean, like I said, 6 in a row, right? It's hard to win ball games no matter what. How many times? I mean, especially to win series. To get a sweep is super hard. So to win 6 games in a row and come off a sweep, I think they're right where they need to be.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree at all. These are the series or the scores around Saturday. Texas State, they're getting the win over Tarleton State after taking out Abilene Christian on Friday. We had a couple double headers with the Georgia teams. And again, Belmont, that was this 7-8 final in that first one for Georgia State. Belmont, you're like, oh man, all right, they're going to bounce back in the next game. Then they get shellacked 16-3.
I was surprised they gave up 16 runs to UTSA. That was a bit of a shocker for me. And then ODU getting 13-0. I think they got run ruled against Charlotte. Yeah.
And the one thing with Coastal is I think they were down big before that, 16-5 or something like. They actually went on one heck of a run towards the end, but obviously too little, too late. They give up those big runs early and just couldn't overcome it. UTSA also a very good baseball team, so this is no stop. They are now ranked within the top 25 of D1 baseball. So getting not a great result, but when you look at 16-10 afterwards, it doesn't look as bad as it felt, honestly, for a lot of that game until that comeback late. The Cajuns blank. You see, is that Santa Barbara or is that
San Diego?
San Diego. There you go. Santa Barbara was the team they started with, right?
Correct.
Gauchos.
No, that's who Southern Miss started with.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Man, we're already so deep in the season. I'm trying to keep straight who played who.
Looking forward to conference once again. I love everybody playing other teams. Man, for us, it gets much more simple, and we can focus more here in a couple weeks.
Yes. Exactly. I got a couple comments we'll get to here. Clinton's jumping in saying, such season for me so far, but then conference hasn't started yet. UMaine is 2-10 so far. My alma mater has started yet D3 school, University of Southern Maine. Okay, so we got maybe a new listener or viewer jumping in. So thanks for jumping in there, Clinton. Good luck to your schools. They get rolling. Hopefully turn it around for Maine at 2-10. As long as they're not playing any Sunbelt teams, we'll let them slide, right, Marv?
Yeah, absolutely. And plus, it's probably still very cold in Maine, so give them a little grace.
Yeah, they probably played a lot more road games than home games, so maybe that end of that season schedule is a little stronger for them at home. ULM is ranked nationally top 15 in scoring runs or scoring and then runs scored, etc. Yeah, and again, you hate to say this. ULM may be one of those teams that didn't quite schedule as tough outside of conference so far. And that's why I'm saying tentatively, I just want to see where they are when they play a little bit tougher competition. Like Marv said, it ain't easy to get a sweep. You're still facing the other team's ace every week, and every team has an ace. So, full credit because they're still putting the run support every game very consistently. You're not ranked in the top 15 in scoring and runs scored for no reason, right, Marv?
Yeah, I don't care who you're playing. If you're top 15, that means that you're raking the ball and you're getting them across the plate. That's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. Chad is giving us an update, and I love to see this because I'm a LSU hater, but they are down 10-0 to Northeastern. But Marv, remind me, I think Northeastern's a regional team in years past here recently, right?
They were, and if I'm not mistaken, LSU has a Tuesday game against one of our schools. I'm trying to find
Louisiana in Lafayette.
Yeah.
Yep. That is going to be a huge one, as we talked about in the preseason stuff with the guys and the coach that were on the screen. That's one that they have circled. They didn't deny it. They didn't say, well, we're not looking ahead now.
Yeah,
They
you
said
got
LSU. That was the answer.
defending national champion coming to your house. Like, if
Yep.
you get excited about that, and I know, right? Like, conference games are important. The next game is the most important game, but you have the number 2 ranked team and the defending national champions coming to your house. You have to be excited.
Yeah, absolutely do. There is no doubt about it. That is no love lost between the people in Lafayette and Baton Rouge. But we'll see what comes of it. That is, I think they also return the trip later in the season. I think this is a 1-1 back and forth. I think. Could be wrong. Maybe it's that they played them last season and this is the return game. I have to fact check myself on that one. But BC Guy 81 saying Southern Miss La Tech was closer on Sunday than it looks. I think we had a couple games, honestly, that were like that. But that one was 6-2 final. So I see what he's saying there. You know, the final score is in the box score aspect, 4 runs. You don't know exactly how it happened unless you were tuned in. But the one, like, again, we'll hark on it. App State, Gardner-Webb, like, those were all as close as they look. 1-run games, like, just insane that App couldn't overcome. I think even Friday, they went up in the 11th. Gardner-Webb tied it. Or no, did they win it in the 12th? I can't remember.
They won in the 12th on Friday and the 11th on Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to note, Coastal Carolina looked like they may lose the ranking beside their name, but Sunday they get in there and beat a number 25 ranked Ole Miss team 9-2, which was good enough to keep. Honestly, if they lost that, maybe they would have still hung on in the rankings. I'm not sure. They did.
What did they fall to?
I think 16. You said they probably would have been out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, RPI wise, right? You play the number 3 team, a newly ranked team, and a number 25 team. Like, that's going to help you. But you know, I hate to play the what if game, but what if Coastal's pitching staff was at full strength? What would that have looked like?
Right. No, we do have to say that. And, you know, those aren't excuses. Those are real things that we can look and think about here because
Southern Miss really quick. Southern Miss allowed 5 runs all weekend. Like, I know the game might have been closer than it looked, but you allowed 5 runs all weekend.
Yeah, very, very impressive. Again, like you said earlier, Marv, the pitching staff, just phenomenal so far this season. They are gaining rankings, gaining notoriety everywhere you look.
Where they get bumped to? Where are they now?
They are 10th.
10th, yeah.
Yep, and rightly so, I think. I mean, you could have probably put them up higher than that, and some people have them higher than that. I believe a guy named Rob's Rankings on Twitter. If you don't follow him, do it. He does really good at compiling all this stuff and waiting until this week to release his rankings so that they're as accurate as he can have them. I believe he's got Southern Miss at number 3 overall in the country, not like some regional thing, not some mid-major thing. He's got USM at number 3 overall in his rankings, I think.
They have Mississippi State at the Pete tomorrow night.
Yep, another big one. Another big one there. Clinton is asking how South Alabama is doing. 9-3 overall record for South Alabama. So the Jags are looking the part early on, and they've even had a game or two that they probably should have won to keep that record looking even better. But 9-3 is extremely respectable at this point in the season. Northeastern plays in the Atlantic 10, and they're doing their Southern run. Yeah, that's a lot of those Northeastern teams. Yeah. That's what our easy thing in the early part of the season for Sunbelt guys is a plus and a bonus for it.
South Alabama's got a big series coming up this weekend too. That same Louisiana Tech team is coming to see them. So I think that's going to be a really good judgment series to see, like, because I think you and I were talking, like, I think South Alabama's a sneaky good baseball team. Like, are they who we think they're going to be?
Yes. And again, the historic program that is South Alabama baseball, I mean, they're prideful. I'll tell you this. I'm not going to hark on all the stats all the time, but when we've done South Alabama baseball previews, some of you would be shocked to know that they are pretty much, if not the top, they're like 2 when all the stats come out about how many people have tuned in, viewed, or listened to their shows. And I'm talking, we're talking about the Cajuns being on here, Troy being on here, Coastal being on here, And South
Southern
Alabama is always up there at the top. So
Yeah.
they are a baseball school. They just haven't been up there at the top in a little bit. But
what was the text that you sent to the group that series win that they had was the first one since 22? Or the first sweep since 22?
First sweep, yeah. Insane.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely mind-blowing that a team has kind of fallen from grace that far. But again, we think that they might be ascending here a little bit, especially in this early part of the season. Chris jumping in saying, great job, guys. First time here and appreciate you. Man, we appreciate the comment. Really like that, Chris. We do it because we like it, but we also like that other people like it. Right, Marv?
It helps. We're not here just to entertain ourselves.
No, we are not. TJ got another comment for us. His Coastal team is down their ace, another projected starter, and two of the nation's three best relievers. Tough break. Yeah, they're definitely not at full strength. And when they get back to full strength, unfortunately it's going to be like, I think, what was it, 8 weeks that we heard for at least two of those guys?
They're probably looking Easter-ish, a little after Easter, before they're back to full strength, which – man, you hope they don't slide down far enough, because I think once they get back to full strength, I think they're one of the top 3 teams in this conference. I think they're going to be a little bit too far behind Southern Miss at that point. But you hope it's not too far gone that if they get back on track and play to their potential, that the damage has already been done.
Yeah, no kidding. It's going to be hard to overcome on some of those aspects. Again, early part of the season still going to matter. I think midweeks matter than some people think or like to say. But yeah, I mean, every win is going to be massive from here on out so that they can stand a chance when they get back. I also like when somebody says somebody's out for 8 weeks, I always take that with a grain of salt, because as an outsider that's not close to the program or have inside knowledge, like, does that 8 weeks mean like that's their time to recover, and as soon as that 8 weeks is done, boom, they're in the starting lineup? Or does that mean 8 weeks fully recovered, but they have to get back up to like game speed, so it's going to be another week or two before they're fully integrated,
Well, that's a good question, and you're talking about pitchers as well, so there's a ramp-up period, right? Like, if you've got elbow soreness, like, even when you come back, you're not throwing 80 pitches. You might get 30, and then wait and see how it feels. Like, so that's a good question. Is it 8 weeks until you're available and then you've got to ramp up, or does that 8 weeks include your ramp up period where you're throwing simulated bullpens and kind of getting back into game shape?
Yeah, absolutely. Shannon Gonzalez, I love this, man. And we're seeing a lot of new names tonight, and I'm loving it. Shannon Gonzalez jumping in saying, how about the Jags pitching? Yeah, I mean, again, they're just all the way around. We see Daniel Gonzalez. I see the connection there.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, he's very good. He's very good. But no, I mean, they are doing very well, and Daniel's definitely standing out on the mound for the Jags in the early part of the season. We love to see it keep up. The Jags were, over the last 2 seasons, one of our favorite teams to interact with. The people behind the scenes make it easy to deal with them. When we've requested interviews, we've got cell phone numbers. We've got Nate Wood on the team, who we love as a personality, more than just baseball. So yeah, I mean, this is the fun of it, and glad to see Shannon tuning in and checking out the show.
Basically, what Dom is saying without saying it is we try to be super biased, right?
Yep.
If there's a team that we want to pull for, it's those guys, because they've been great ambassadors to us and the conference, and they just got good people in their program.
Yeah. And shout out to, again, Coach Maggs, who's no longer with the program. He's moved on to scout for Major League Baseball team. But this guy really got us started. Like, he got our foot in the door when we couldn't get ourselves in last season. And that has catapulted us to have a little bit easier time. And he's not the only one, but he was probably the first one, right, Marv, that really got us rolling.
Yeah, he was the most instrumental. I mean, we got off the podcast. He's like, man, I love this. He's like, who do you not have on your show so far? And we were like, this team. He's like, I'm sending text messages to everybody. They'll reach out to you. And like 75% of them did. Yes.
Yeah. And the ones that did all came on. There wasn't a single one who was like, yeah, I'll see. And then, ghosted you. I mean, it happens a lot in this industry that someone says they'll do something or try and work on something and nothing comes of it. Some of that stuff is real because people get busy and they really and truly do forget. But all those guys came through and jumped on the show last year. A lot of them either returned again this year or got us somebody different, which we also love, right? Like we want to know more people. And a lot of the coaches, man, I enjoyed every single coach we had on this year for different reasons, and really, really had fun with those preseason previews. TJ saying also worth noting, stress fractures typically take 13 to 15 weeks. Is 8 weeks accurate?
According to Kendall Rogers on X, and he posted Coastal Baseball right-handed pitcher Cameron Flukie and left-handed pitcher Hayden Johnson, Coastal's top 2 starters, are expected to miss at least 8 weeks due to injury. Flukie is dealing with a stress fracture in his rib. Johnson is a stress reaction in his elbow. So at least 8 weeks.
Yeah, and part of me wonders if the at least 8 weeks is like both of those guys have something they might like. If this was the end of the season, they're in the College World Series, they might try and push through some pain or play through. I'm not saying you can. I'm just saying you might try. They're obviously not going to do that now, right? Like, let's save these guys. We believe in our depth. We want to show our depth. We also want to get some of our guys, maybe in the early part of the season, experience they otherwise wouldn't have. So it's not the worst thing, but
that'll pay dividends later in the season and in the next year. The other side of that is both of those guys are projected to be extremely high draft picks. So if the season is too far gone, do you bring them back and risk it?
Right. And you have to wonder behind the scenes, like, now we know NIL and everything's a part of this. There's some agents back there saying, hey, not only you, but me too. We want to get that contract, that larger contract once we step up here, when your college career is over. We want you to be healthy to do that, because that's how it's going to work. And we have to play it smart and not push ourselves to the brink to have a short career, even with some accolades. Yeah. Let's have a prolonged career. And a lot of guys are doing that. And I never did it, right? Marv, we weren't at that level, but it makes sense, right? Let's prolong what we're doing.
It'll be interesting to see. Listen, those guys are not highly rated because they don't love to compete. So if they're healthy, I'm sure they're going to want to go. But I think it depends. I personally want to see both of those guys back. They're two of the best pitchers in the conference. You want to see them on the mound for their team, but we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. TJ saying maybe they knew about it and wanted to see if Flukie was ready. We'll never know, but something to keep your eye on. Absolutely. Want to get into Austin's questions. We're going to get back into the preview in the upcoming week as well. Austin's got a question here. Thoughts on Texas State and their best start since their historic 2022 season. Yeah, let's be honest, Marv. We don't look like the smartest guys having them at 9 before this week started. I will say this. I don't know if you remember exactly where you put them. I know you had them way higher.
I think I had them 6. If I'm not, I'd have to go back through and look. But listen, they beat UTSA, which is a big win, right? They did lose to Baylor, took 2 or 3 from Gonzaga. They swept Niagara, and then get the sweep, even though it was a weird. They played Abilene twice and Charleston once. But man, they won 5 games in a row. They got a 4-game series with Washington State this weekend. So I think that's big. Then they play Texas, and then they open up at ULM. It's like we said earlier, in the composite rankings, they're on the right side of the screen. They will not be on the right side of the screen this week.
There's zero chance.
There's zero chance. I think they're playing really good baseball, and we always talk about top 4 because we think that if you're in the top 4 of this conference, you're probably going to get a regional bid. Right now, they look like they could be a top 4 team, but we're still pretty early, 10 games, 12 games into the season. But I think they look really good, and I think we undervalued them a little bit to begin with, and it will be corrected this week.
Yeah, and I think we undervalued probably based on the wrong thing too, because if we think back, like last year, they had some huge victories. I think, what did we say, like 5?
What did we joke around? We said they were Texas State champions.
Exactly.
They beat Texas. They beat all the big name teams in their state. They just didn't win enough conference series or get the sweeps when they won. They had a chance to get the sweep, but early in the season, they look good. I think they have a big test this weekend. 4 games against a Pac-12 team is going to be or whatever conference Washington State is in now. I forget.
Honestly, it's either they're in the Pac-12, which is still just Pac-2 for baseball, or for baseball they're kind of independent. I'm not really sure, but obviously the cool part for Texas State in this is that they're playing the Sun Belt schedule, but they're getting like a preview of Pac-12 baseball for next year because they've played Gonzaga, as you mentioned, and they've got this 4-game set against Washington State. I thought it was a mistake when I first saw it. I was like, wait, they're playing Thursday. I was like, nobody plays Thursday because you got weekend sets. And then I'm like, oh, wait, they're playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday too. I thought, okay, they're playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They're avoiding Sunday for some reason. Nope, they're playing 4. Well, I guess it probably helps Washington State, right, to travel down to Texas.
Makes sense.
Play, that maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. But listen, Washington State, they're 5-6 on the season. They did beat Alabama. They took 1 from Alabama this weekend. So we know they can play. Early in the season, they took 1 from them. But you take 3 out of 4 from them, and like you've got some momentum going into conference.
Oh yeah, because
you sweep them and they're top 4 for sure. But it's good to see. Hate to see a team that's leaving get better, but they're here this year. We'll take credit for them.
Yeah, exactly. Slam Marcos is alive and well. Again, especially before they leave the Sun Belt, they want to go out on top. As we know, last season with some injuries didn't work out to their favor. A very similar team now that we're thinking about it, like to Troy, right? Like Troy had a good season, wasn't overly great, and unfortunately didn't end in tournament bid. Same type of thing for Texas A, because you point back and you're like, look at all these wins. They beat the number 1 ranked team in Texas A&M on the road. That stuff's not easy, but it didn't work out for him in the end. Neil chiming in saying pitchers just have to sit because of the money. No lies. Marv probably knows that better than me because he's dealing with kids that are doing it at a younger age. But, I'm sure you still have to save kids at this age and stuff too, right?
There's 2 philosophies at the age where most of our kids are playing. There's we won't pitch a kid. Like my son pitched 59 pitches on Saturday. Like, that's the max we'll ever throw a kid, and he won't pitch. He won't pitch again for a week. Like we have practice tomorrow night. He won't throw a bullpen tomorrow night. When he got done, he sat on the bench for the rest of the game. Like because he plays third base, we weren't going to take a kid that had thrown that many pitches and then put him in a position where he's got to make the longest throw in the infield. There are other teams in youth baseball that they don't give a crap. Like they got a fast horse, they're just going to ride it. But once you get to this level where these guys are about to go make that kind of money. Yeah, that's like we said earlier. That's a discussion that player's going to have with their agent and say, like, hey, if I come back and get injured again, does that cost us money? If I come back and it's not right, does that cost us money? Or if I come back and I look like everybody thought I was going to look, does that secure the money? So it's
true.
Little different, but the arm's a funny thing, man. You get 1 of them or you get 2, right? But you only get to throw with 1 of them typically. You need to protect it, especially when there's that kind of cash on the line.
Yeah. Not many guys can throw Major League Baseball level baseballs with 2 arms. There's been a few, right? But I mean, probably on one hand you could count them.
I don't think so.
I don't think not even that.
I don't think there's a guy throwing 100 with his right and 95 with his left. I don't think at that level. But I mean, I thought there was one guy who was messing. Maybe it was a minors, like one guy who was messing with a batter because the batter would switch. I have seen that. Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. That the exception is not the rule.
Right. Yeah. That's not happening everywhere and hardly anywhere. So yeah. TJ says, Dom, you and I talked preseason. Any team in the state of Texas is due for a 40-win season if the dominoes fall their way. And yeah, Marv, we looked at that too with Texas State. To TJ's point, like just staying in the state of Texas, you're going to play a lot of ranked teams or a lot of teams that are very, very good. So yeah, I mean, this is an easy way to get some good numbers on your side. And then I guess TJ knew the guy's name, Pat Venditti, baby. Venditti. I'm sure it's like a Italian name. TJ's probably better with those than I am because he's got the announcer stuff down. But yeah, let's jump back into what we have coming up. And we're gonna list every game, but South Alabama, UAB, kind of regional thing there. Marshall's getting a shot at Virginia Tech. We know that they played in football. Now it's going to be the baseball iteration of this. Arkansas State, like you said, La Tech. I think, and you said they go twice, right? It's a Tuesday, Wednesday thing for them, I think.
Let's see.
Yes, they do. They just stay there.
Yep. No, that's a sneaky good test for both of those teams. And then Georgia State, man, going against Georgia Tech, like we saw Georgia Tech lose to a Sun Belt team last week. It was Georgia State, wasn't it?
Yep, it was. Yeah. They're going to get their shot again.
Man, understatement, right? Like Southern Miss beats Mississippi State. That's phenomenal. And then Coastal, they didn't schedule easy, right? At NC State, and I think they go to East Carolina this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I got those up too.
It doesn't get easier.
TJ says that was the correct. Oh, wow, I just screwed it up. That was the correct pronunciation. Excellent work, even for an App State fan. Boom, he's got the uppercut finish there. All right, I like it.
Watch your mouth there, TJ.
Oh, man. But, yeah, we got some good regional games. George Mason, JMU, Southeast Louisiana, ULM. Yeah, look, right in our backyard, Coastal comes up to play NC State. I wanted everything to do to get to this one because it's two ranked teams. Not only that, but it's like 30 minutes from my house. They're playing at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Like, can't you get like a 4, 4:30, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock start? I could make it. It would be enjoyable. I can take my son. 3 p.m. in the afternoon? You got to be kidding me, man. I'd have to take my kid out of school early to get over there in time.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah. No, he wouldn't. He actually told me, he's like, are we going? I'm like, dude, I also have a meeting that was supposed to be at 3:30 today scheduled now for tomorrow. So it's like, nope, now I'm definitely out because that had to be moved. So unfortunately,
you got to find out what's
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I just got to get good enough at this that I don't have to work a real job anymore. That will be the day, my friends. That will be the day. 3 poor decisions, like the uppercut finish there to TJ's comment. Yeah. Yes, I did immediately mispronounce pronunciation. Yeah. Can't make it up.
Commentator curse.
Yeah. Yep. It is. It hit. All right. So Wednesday slate, ODU VCU. If you're looking at the screen and trying to wondering what the hell that logo is, I guess this is a new one they're going to. I kind of like it. But if you haven't seen it and you're seeing it on the small screen, probably hard to tell, but it is a cool little logo there. App State gets to play a ranked team at home with Wake Forest.
It's going to be, I'm looking right now, I think it's going to be one of those like super perfect weather days. And but yeah, 66 degrees in Boone on Wednesday, which for anyone that doesn't know, in early March, like you take that all the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is it like sneaky good weather we just had here locally, Marv? Like it was crappy almost all week, and then we had a 76-degree day on Sunday afternoon. It was amazing.
It was nice. And then it was 48 today, and it's like, what the heck?
Yeah. two crappy days in a row. In fact, with Coastal coming up to NC State, you think like, oh, there'll be great weather in Raleigh. Nope, it's supposed to be about the same again tomorrow. So maybe touching 50 at best. So a chilly one outside in Raleigh over there too. As you said, Georgia Southern, the Citadel, Troy and Vandy, interesting matchup. Not ranked, either one of them, but I think that's one to keep an eye out for sure on a Wednesday. And then, like you said, LSU visiting Lafayette. That one is, that's the must-watch game of the night for sure.
I agree. I'm as an App State guy, I got my App State shirt on, right? Like if App had swept Gardner-Webb and it being 66 degrees on Wednesday with a ranked team coming in, that could have potentially been one of the best like midweek home attendance games that we had ever had. I hope that people still show up, but I think a little bit of I hope the buzz didn't wear off. How's that?
Yeah, I think the other thing too that I'm seeing a lot of these baseball teams try and do at the college level, they're kind of, I think they're stealing it from the minor leagues to some extent. Like sometimes the matchup isn't going to be the draw. The draw, like you said, Marvin, just a second ago, is the weather. Like, hey, come outside, experience just a beautiful day, and you can have an ambiance of a game going on at the same time. And then that's when you get people sucked in a little bit, because if you present them with a good game and a good product, now they're like, well, yeah, it was a nice day, but also that game was fun. Like,
yeah, I'm coming again.
Yeah, exactly. So, sometimes it's baby steps for some of these programs. And that's not just Sunbelt. I'm talking about just college baseball in general. There's a lot of people saying, well, I love college baseball. Why don't more people? I mean, you got to do all kinds of different things, see what works. I mean, you can't quite go Savannah Bananas level, but you can do some small things that maybe they bring in outside of the field that can work and bring people into your stadium. I know specifically, not only App State, there's a couple other ones, but App State specifically allows you to bring your dog into the field.
They do,
which is really cool. So, when you do those types of things, people that have a dog or two, I can't go to a game. It's 3.5 hours long sometimes. No, take the dog with you. Now you don't have to worry about getting home in a rushed amount of time. But
one last thing on attendance really quick.
Yeah.
During the football show, we had picked on Arkansas State for their attendance. Arkansas State's Saturday game against Arkansas Pine Bluff set their all-time attendance record for a baseball game. So shout out Red Wolves fans. Way to show up.
Yeah, there is no doubt. And I think against La Tech, La Tech's on the road, so that's not at play. But they have a home game this weekend, I think we'll get to in a second. But again, Thursday, we do have one game Thursday. So real easy. You guys want to check out how real Texas State is as a team? I think this is going to be a good one here. Washington State at Texas State for the first of 4 in a row. But again, easy to take in because it's the only game Thursday. The only thing you got to talk about is if you're a Sunbelt fan, you're going to be watching some of that conference tournament down in Pensacola. So there is that aspect. And if you're watching this, interested in some Sunbelt basketball action, Zach and I are going to jump on. I don't have an exact start time for that because we don't know exactly how long this show is going to take. We'll get ourselves together and come back at you shortly for that live show. But yeah, be sure to tune in that. Now,
Trump Sunbelt basketball. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, no, it definitely does. I fully agree. I mean, we talked about numbers. I got them to back up that statement full-heartedly. And I've shared them with you, obviously. But for our viewing audience, this is a baseball conference to the core. Again, not a mid-major because we care too much and our teams are too good. What other mid-major, quote-unquote, conference is putting 2 ranked teams into the top 25 and having them there consistently? No one. So there's the easy argument. I didn't list out every single series this weekend because we have some that aren't going to stand out. Yeah, go ahead, Marv. Start it off.
I mean, we've talked about it. La Tech at South Alabama, Washington State at Texas State, Raging Cajuns at Dallas Baptist. That's sneaky good.
Very good.
ECU's not ranked, but always a solid team. East Tennessee is better than most people think. They're going to give JMU everything they've got. And then Maryland Troy, I mean, like, just count it out there, right? That's 7 of our teams that are playing phenomenal baseball teams this weekend in their last weekend series before conference.
Yeah, I think Charleston Southern and Georgia State might have been the only one that I didn't think I heard you say, but Charleston Southern record-wise, phenomenal. I think they're like 7-2 on the season or something. So this is a serious test for Georgia State at home. They'll get the Bus Lot boys down in Atlanta, so that's going to be to their advantage, I think, because we just saw what happened when they went on the road against Belmont. How do they look against a solid, very good, solid team in Charleston Southern coming into Atlanta this weekend? So, yeah, it'll be interesting and a lot of fun and a lot for us to keep up with over the weekend when we're like sharing stuff via text, jumping from game to game, sharing out tweets when we see people saying certain things from certain games. So far, it's just like a whirlwind of information for us to try and stay up to date with this stuff. We will get a little bit more specific with stats and players and everything as we go. We're just kind of slowly getting ourselves and everybody else into it by kind of doing the overview of the teams, and it still takes us an hour. So
yeah, just, when you've got 14 teams in this conference and most of them are playing 3 games a weekend, that's 42 games. So yeah, to have the specifics for everything, not realistic.
No,
when there's 21 games, when it's cut in half, it's still hard, but we'll be able to once again have a better microscope over what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And we love the fact that sometimes the show goes a little bit long because people are sharing their questions and comments. That's what we do it live for, because we like for you guys to help shape the show. That's what this conference is all about. A little bit of pride and passion and a little bit of hate. And hey, got a mix for a lot of fun.
Yeah.
TJ saying Coastal ECU was electric regional atmosphere. Sam Wiederhave says it's his big series that he's ready to call this season. Yeah, Sam does a great job down there Coastal calling their baseball games, and pretty prevalent on the socials too. So you've probably seen him around some. Eddie Brantley jumping in saying, enjoying your show, guys. Really looking forward to Sunbelt games. Yes, we are too. Not far away. That's next week, right, Marv?
Let's see. Let me triple check myself real quick, but I think
it is, because I think that's when Coastal comes to Boone.
I think you're right. So let's see. I hit the wrong thing.
All good. I know it's accurate because it's my birthday weekend. No shout out. Don't worry about it. We're gonna ignore it because Anyway, yeah, because I was like, oh, I want to go to that one. I got it bookmarked, and then I saw when it was, and I was like, dang it. I'm probably not making it up the mountain for that one.
Yeah, so the 13th. So when conference starts.
Yeah.
Which makes that 11 days away.
So we still have this week and this weekend, and then obviously the midweeks before the 13th, to pull for the conference. I know everybody loves to hate certain teams, but pull for everybody, because the RPI, the respect, all gets bigger and better with more out-of-conference victories. Then we can all beat each other up in conference and have fun with it. But right now, we need everybody to do their best outside of this and get us to where we want to be in the end. Like I said, conference RPI, the respect comes up. Maybe last year Troy gets in instead of getting left out. That's how big of a deal this could be, right? And that's money for Troy. That's money for the conference overall, getting into NCAA tournaments. So we want as many teams there as possible. And
looking at the rest of the schedules, like there's a very good chance that we get to conference play and 11 of the 14 teams already have double-digit wins.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That would be awesome, because then if you do beat each other up a little bit, it's a little easier to swallow, right? Like, well, we're not hurting each other too bad because these wins and losses are within the conference. We're not losing to teams outside that, we shouldn't be, and all that kind of stuff. There'll still be midweeks. It's not like that stuff ends, but yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. SBC strong. And then TJ giving another, this isn't quite the uppercut the other one was, a little jab here. Happy birthday. Here's 3 losses. So the Coastal fan says to the App State guys. But yeah. But yeah, man.
Is there a block button?
Yeah. mute.
Unfollow.
I actually have my You're on Mute TV t-shirt on tonight, but because I'm in the cold basement with the heater running, I'm not showing it off. I got the sweatshirt over top, obviously, because it's a little, like you said, man, if it was Sunday afternoon, it's 76 degrees. I'd be down here in shorts on the tee, but
don't worry, it's coming. I was just looking at the weather when you said it, and man, it's gonna be 80 degrees Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. I love that one. So yeah, and then the time change also is gonna help. It's not only temperature but visually, right? Like we'll be able to get better lighting for watching on TV or being there live. So that will also be a big aspect to this. CJ says, don't worry, I'm disappointed in myself more than y'all ever could be. Oh, man. All right. Marv, any last news or notes before we bid adieu?
I don't believe so, man. I think we're good.
Yeah. Tune in. I know we've got some stuff on the website. It needs to get out there and pushed in the meantime as well, but syndicatesports.io. Again, we've changed the name from sunbeltsyndicate.com to Syndicate Sports so we can branch out and offer some writers from different teams in different areas of the country some coverage as well as we continue to expand. So thank you all for tuning in to this episode of the Sunbelt Syndicate, the 3B edition. We ain't done. Marv will be done for the night. He's going to retire to his quarters, as the military says. But we're going to switch places and bring Zach in, and we're going to talk some basketball. We're going to talk postseason awards. We're going to talk about the tournament coming up. And, we're going to cover your comments and questions as well. So look for us here very shortly, and we'll see you next time.
See y'all.
Sunbelt Syndicate.